In this tutorial, we will synchronize an Entra ID tenant with a backend LDAP configured using the WebADM framework. WebADM is configured as the primary data source with an Active Directory. An OpenLDAP database is set up and virtually mounted via a WebADM mount point in an Active Directory OU named OpenLDAP. In OpenLDAP, an organization type object is created to synchronize our Entra ID users. In the context of the current setup for this video, there is no synchronization from Active Directory to Entra ID, so the Entra ID users and groups are not available in Active Directory. Now we will create a new organization to host Entra ID users and groups. First, we create an organization object and proceed to configure a user domain for Entra ID. This domain allows WebADM to fetch users and apply policies as needed. To manage synchronization effectively, we will add 2 additional containers under Entra ID, one for users and one for groups. This way, user and group objects will synchronize correctly into their respective containers. We now have our Entra organization with our CN group and our CN users. We configure the search base to point to the user container in our Entra ID organization. The UPN suffix must be configured here to eliminate the need for handling long UPN suffixes and ensure proper domain matching during user identification. Once the UPN suffix is set, we configure the Entra ID provider, focusing only on the tenant ID setup. The client ID refers to an application registered in Entra, which in this case is our WebADM Sync application. We retrieve the application ID and generate a new secret using the Entra ID secret menu. After generating the secret, we copy and paste it into the secret field in our domain configuration. We then select the necessary sync options, such as synchronizing subdirectories and passwords. Now we launch Sync. With the domain configuration complete, we should see the objects being synchronized, including our 2 groups and 3 users. Upon verification, Entra ID confirms that the correct number of users and groups are present. These users and groups are now available for other integrations, becoming natively usable in on-premise environments like Linux, VPN, LDAP, and more. Additionally, they can integrate with RCDev's self-services, such as password reset and token enrollment. Thank you for following this tutorial, and we hope it has been helpful in setting up your Entra ID and WebADM integration.